Well, hello everybody. Welcome to our call tonight. So glad that you are here, and especially as we're getting towards the end of the week, I know that you guys have a lot going on like I do over here. So thank you for carving out some time. And I know that it's not always easy. So thank you for choosing to be here. So if you don't know me, my name is Abby Taylor. I'm a mom of three. I live in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm a Sapphire brand ambassador here with Plexus. And what that really means is that I've helped a lot of women over the years see results not only with their health, but with building income that really creates margin in their lives. So this leadership rank really comes with incredible perks, and we're going to talk more about those later. But more than anything, this really represents experience, stability, and a business model that works when you work it. So I want you guys to have your chats open tonight because I'm going to be asking you guys some questions along the way, and I would love for you to engage with me. So if you click at the bottom of your Zoom screen here, there should be a chat or chat box. Open that up because we're going to be chatting there together tonight. So, um, maybe you guys came excited tonight. Maybe you're a little curious. Maybe you're quietly wanting more, but also feeling really skeptical, like I was. Wherever you are, I am so glad that you are here. And really, my heart tonight is just to simply share what I've lived, what I've seen, and what I know is possible, and to give you guys just a space to reflect and really reflect on what do you want for your own life. So before I share my story, I want to honor the woman who invited you here tonight. You're here tonight because someone saw something special in you. They invited you intentionally because they believe that maybe this could bless your family like it has for all of us. So Sarah Marie or Emily, Hillary, Hannah, they're wonderful ladies. I didn't know any of them prior to Plexus. And honestly, now I couldn't imagine my life without them. Become close friends who, navigate business, but also life and marriage and parenting together and all the things in between. And these gals are such hard workers. They have a huge heart. They're ambitious. They lead with integrity, and they're passionate about not only helping others succeed, like you, in your health, but also in your finances. So that really leads me to the reason behind this call tonight. So go ahead and have that chat box open. And in the chat, will you tell us who invited you? Who invited you to this call? And while you're there, type out on a scale from 1 to 10, how much margin do you feel that you have right now in your life? 1 would be basically none. And 10 would be, I'm living life free. I have all the time freedom. I'm living my dream life. Where are you at from 1 to 10 as far as how much margin you have right now in your life? Type that in the chat as well as who invited you here tonight. Okay, so as you're doing that, I'm going to talk about me a little bit. So 7 years ago, I was an elementary music teacher and a young mom of two, now three. Honestly, I was just trying to keep everything afloat. I loved my teaching job for about the first 8 years and then got into year nine, and I'm like, okay, no, I need something to change here. Financially, we were pretty tight, paycheck to paycheck, doing a lot of constant mental math in my mind, feeling a lot of anxiety about bills, repairs, anything unexpected that popped up, the furnace going out, the dishwasher, the van needs tires. These are all real life stories. And so I was exhausted. I was rushing through my mornings. I was doing the daycare drop-offs, snapping at my kids, and then having the mom guilt, and then realizing that daycare costs, I wasn't even really bringing much beyond that, and that was frustrating. And I remember thinking, is this how it will always be? At the same time, my body was definitely waving the red flag. I was not sleeping well. I relied on sugar to get through the day. I needed naps. I crashed in the afternoons. By evening, I had nothing left to give. And I would be falling asleep by 8 p.m., but of course, after my big bowl of ice cream to celebrate making through another day. And I remember wondering, will it ever get better? So, my question for you guys in the chat, have you ever found yourself thinking the same thought? If you have, put a 1 in the chat. Will it ever get better, or is this how it will always be? If you've ever thought about that before, put a 1 in the chat. And here's the thing, you guys, what I wanted didn't feel big or dramatic. It was the little things. Like I wanted to walk my son into kindergarten and not have to rush off to work. I wanted to bake muffins with my daughter in the afternoon. I wanted to have dinner on the table when my husband got home because I could. I wanted to live life during the week and not just cram everything into the weekends. I wanted to be able to buy organic groceries just because I could and I didn't have to run my credit card. Thinking about holidays and birthdays, being able to give generously without stressing, going to the store, going to Kohl's or wherever, and, being able to pay for a full price outfit versus having to look at clearance or feeling guilty. Getting my hair done without having to swap the cost out for something else or waiting an extra month to get it done. And I remember just thinking, like, if this could help with the little things for us, like $300, $400 a month, that would be enough. I wanted some extra time. I wanted peace, less stress, less arguing about bills, and just more options. So, question for you guys in the chat. You're doing awesome with engaging. If a little pressure was lifted in your life right now, what's one small thing that would change for you? I would love to hear in that chat. Maybe it's one of the things that I shared above. If a little extra pressure, maybe at a little extra time, a little extra money coming in, what sort of change would you make? So, yeah, I was seeking a flexible way to contribute financially from home without everything falling on my husband's shoulders. And I really didn't see how that was possible. And that's when my sister, I saw her showing up on Facebook with her pink drink, and I thought, what is she drinking over there? Because we only ever drink water. And so it seemed really out of the blue, but looking back, I know it was an answer from my desperate plea. So I saw her with her pink drink. I was very skeptical. I said no. I was frugal. I said no. I didn't think it would work for me. And the only reason I actually tried them was because she paid for my first box. Yes, she's a very nice sister. And then when I got my box, she said, "Hey, do you want to work this business? Do you want to make money?" And I said, "No." Here's something important to know about me. I never planned on going into network marketing, ever. I'm an introvert. I was not active much on social media. I didn't have a big friends group, and my husband was not supportive. Not because he didn't love me, but because this felt very unfamiliar and risky. And I had a lot of reasons not to succeed here. But a few weeks into using my products consistently, something unexpected happened. I was starting to sleep better at night. I didn't feel like I needed the naps every afternoon. I didn't need to go to the teacher's lounge every day to get candy out of the vending machine. My energy started to come back. I was calmer with my kids and feeling happier and stopped getting shaky before meals. Obviously, I was dealing with blood sugar imbalance. And so, for the first time in a long time, I really felt like, wow, I have control over my health again. And that's when things really started to shift. Not magically, not overnight, but really right on time. And it wasn't until somebody encouraged me to like stop and dream and ask me what was really deep inside of me. That was a turning point because the truth is, you guys, and maybe you can relate, I was in survival mode for so long. I didn't even know what it was like to dream. I was living day by day, barely seeing my husband, living for the weekends, living for summer, just trying to make it through the week. And so the idea of dreaming was very foreign to me. And honestly, it kind of felt like a waste of time. I wasn't asking, like, what do I want my future to look like? I honestly just shoved away any thoughts about that because it didn't seem like it was an option. But when someone encouraged me to look within and look forward and like beyond my present, that honestly, what was starting to envision, like what was actually possible for me, was the moment when things really clicked. Someone else giving me permission to dream, it really like woke something up inside of me. So I started feeling excited again. I wasn't sleeping at night, but not because I wasn't healthy, but because I just was excited. I was motivated. I was hopeful. For the first time in a long time, I was looking forward with anticipation instead of worry and fear. And I really started to see like this is how this can impact my family. And so, a few things I was excited about. I have never driven a new vehicle before, ever. And so the idea of being able to lease a Plexus Lexus brand new car to drive off the lot, I'm like, wow, that would be so cool. We definitely did not travel too much and not internationally. So any trips that we took, it meant saving or sliding a card or pulling from savings or trying to take the cheapest route as possible, right? And so the concept of traveling several times a year on the company's dime was so enticing to me. And I could see how having a regular space to step away from the noise of life and to spend quality time together with my husband, with my kids, and how it strengthened our relationship and our friendship, like that was so important to me. And so, and then she talked to me about a six-figure income, and that is when I leaned in because as a teacher, I was nowhere near that amount and never would be. And this compensation plan has no cap. So I could make as much money or as little money as I wanted to. And one of our diamond leaders actually, she makes six figures a month. A month. Like that is insane. And she's just a normal person, but she's a very hard worker. But six figures a month, just imagine how that would change your life. Crazy, right? Okay, so in the chat again, what is one thing you would pay off, purchase, or change if your current monthly income doubled or tripled? If your current monthly income doubled or tripled, what would you pay off? What would you purchase? What would you save for? I am super curious to hear. Debt, house. Yes, super relatable. And here's the thing too, like the numbers, it wasn't just the numbers that caught my eye. It was like, what did the number actually represent? Margin, right? Security, options, the ability to actually breathe and live life without constantly worrying. And if this could be the thing that was going to change our future, why wouldn't I be willing to take the next step? And I was willing. And I realized something important too. What looked like adding another thing to my plate, because my plate was full. I was teaching, I was working at home, I was teaching piano lessons out of my house, I was teaching piano lessons at school, I was on the worship team, two small kids, just so much going on. And so I'm like, gosh, how can I add another thing to my plate? Well, that was actually the very thing that allowed me to take other things off my plate in the long run. So then I got to choose what I wanted on my plate. And that has been such a freeing reward. And so that's when I made the decision. I didn't stumble into this. I didn't cross my fingers and hope. Like I decided I'm going all in. And even though maybe people didn't like this didn't fit the box of what others expected of me, I was willing to go all in. And even though people might have opinions about me leaving my teaching career, or even though putting myself on social media felt very strange and awkward, or even though my husband did not see it yet, I knew that I was saying yes to change for our future. And so if others could do this, why couldn't I figure this out too? So I decided that Plexus would be our plan B. I had no intentions of this ever becoming our plan A. I started to step out of my comfort zone a little bit and into the world of sharing Plexus with others. And that's when I noticed that, oh my gosh, there's other people around me who are tired, anxious, bloated, right? They're going to bed worrying about their health and their finances too. And suddenly I realized like I have a solution for both of these for people. Gut health, is so foundational for overall health. And we have quality products that can help everybody because we all have a gut, right? But then I knew that I had an answer to unspoken prayers like I was praying for too. And so I started sharing with my coworkers, my old friends, family members, friends on Facebook, not to convince anyone, but and not to pressure them, but because I believe that what this could do for them and their families. And so I was growing my belief each day. And as I continued to learn the skill set and take bold action, my team began to grow one woman at a time, one conversation at a time. And like I said, what stood out to me was not that just that this could help with their health, but it could help with their finances too. I saw other women who wanted a positive community to plug in and be a part of, right? I saw women who wanted to be able to make an impact, but in a flexible way where they're still prioritizing their family. I saw women who wanted freedom to maybe step away from their full-time career at some point. I saw women who wanted to travel too and create memories with their families. And so I realized that Plexus was so much more than just a wellness company. It really is a vehicle to freedom. And my business started to grow steadily as I grew along with it. And I will say, you guys, that this has pulled a leader out of me. If you're sitting there thinking, like, well, I'm not a leader and that's too scary, I didn't ever think I was a leader. And I will say, this has pulled that out of me. Like, it's brought the best out of me. It's refined me. It's stretched me far beyond my comfort zone. It's sharpened my communication skills. It's helped me form healthier habits, right? It's deepened my faith. And I can say that becoming more of the person that God created you to be is one of the most rich rewards you could ever experience in this lifetime. And I also loved that my hard work was being seen and celebrated a lot. Like beyond my role as a mom, as a wife, as a XYZ, like I was getting recognized here for being me and for using my gifts and talents and for helping people. And so the recognition is not rare here. It's consistent and it comes in all forms. Like I've earned iPads and Apple Watches and customized Nike shoes and like really comfy blankets and stage recognition and huge cash bonuses and even phone calls all the way from the founder and president of the company. And that really spoke volumes to me about the integrity of this company. The fact that they care deeply enough to almost reach down to all the people that are part of this company and that they care about each of us and want the best for us. That has been so cool to be a part of something like this. And I've met amazing women along the way, right? Driven women, life-giving women, fun women who call me higher and have become my closest friends. And so we are a close-knit community that cares deeply, and would love to welcome you into that. So, about a month into my journey, I did make my first $300 to $400, the exact amount that I had set my eyes on from the start. I remember saying things like, "Hey, I'll cover the phone bill this month," or "I've got the electric bill," and it even helped us cover vehicle expenses for us and summer activities for my kids. And slowly, my husband's belief started to grow. And then came my first paycheck with a comma, $1,000 paycheck. And you guys, I was shook. It felt like a dream. I couldn't believe that I was making this kind of money from my phone just by helping people. And that's when I could start saying yes to meaningful things again, getting my hair done regularly, nails, self-care, the occasional massage here and there. We started to grow our savings account, big Dave Ramsey people over here, that emergency fund. And so, and that's when the bigger shifts happened. I was able to step down from my teaching job and leave the classroom and come home. And that changed my life. It changed my kids' life. It changed my family's life. I knew that this is what I wanted to be a part of full time. And it's become one of the most rewarding things I have ever done. Shortly after 2020 hit, we all know what happened then. I had my third baby. And instead of business slowing down, we caught massive momentum as a team, as a company. 2 years into my business, I hit a monumental rank. It's called Emerald, and that started to open a door to a six-figure income, a monthly vehicle lease or bonus, and then a yearly luxury trip for two. It was so cool. We celebrated with a steak dinner. The company bought us gift cards. We ordered in steak. It was so surreal. Um, and all of this actually happened during the one of the hardest seasons of my life. My baby, who was about a month old, was in and out of the children's hospital at that point. He had one thing after the next and ended up having a severe staph infection in his shoulder bone, like tiny little baby shoulder bone. So they had to do surgery, and it was just a really, really, really scary time. He was on antibiotics, like pumped in his body for weeks on end, and it was crazy. And during that time, we went Emerald. We ranked up. And it was so cool to see the community come around me, like selflessly serving me, loving on me during a really difficult time. And to me, it was like, this is so much more than just business. And it really opened my eyes to friends and people who lift you higher, and how even in really hard things, women can do, moms can do incredible things, right? We are so resilient. And so, Plexus was a lifeline in that season. It was a beautiful distraction in a really, really hard time, and something I will never forget. So, one of my favorite parts about hitting Emerald, we call that jewel rank, is that Plexus will gift you an annual luxury trip for you and a guest. Plexus really pulls out the stops, you guys, from shopping sprees at Bloomingdale's to Caribbean celebrity cruises to five-star resorts. And I've been to Maui, Hawaii, and Mayakoba, Mexico, and just like dream places. And this past fall, I actually even got to take my husband on a all expenses paid week-long cruise to Alaska. Something I never would have imagined I'd be able to do, but Plexus. And so that was just really, really cool to treat my husband, to sweep him away, to have that time together. I've been able to bring my mom on trips with me. She still talks about it. It's been like 3 years. I've been able to bring my kids with me. I'm actually headed to Mexico next week, and I'm bringing my two oldest kids with me. And we're going to go on a Plexus trip, and it's going to be amazing. And we're going to make memories. And we got all the suitcases right back there. Hopefully, you can't see all the junk on the floor. But they're so excited, and just be able to see their joy and their excitement and their sense of wonder. It's so surreal, and it makes every single difficulty, every single setback that I've faced in this journey so worth it. So I just talked a lot, but in the chat, I'm curious if you guys were gifted a trip anywhere, where would you want to go? What's like on your bucket list? Italy, me too. I want to go to Europe so bad. Greece, yes. I want to go to Ireland, Philippines. I love it. So many places. And I think it's so cool that Plexus will cover these trip costs for us. And that's also one of the reasons why I believe so deeply in this company is their pure generosity. It still blows my mind. So, here's a part that still humbles me. Last month, I made my largest paycheck ever. It was about $15,000. And I could just cry because I still don't believe that why I'm able to make this kind of money. Like it's such a gift. I work really hard. Yes, I do. My team will tell you that. But my husband is now able to take his trip, a missions trip to Africa, something he's always wanted to do and kind of just secretly it was buried in there. And I remember when I said yes to Plexus 7 years ago, that went on my vision board in my mind. It was just like I could visualize it. I could see him standing at the front door. I could see him with the suitcases. I knew he was going on this missions trip to Africa. And now it's coming true. It's a reality because I decided not to give up on the hard days and I decided to keep pushing on the hard days. And so now Plexus gets to cover that full amount, which is not cheap. Not cheap to go to Africa for a week. And so that has just been really, really cool to see his dreams come true because I did not give up. Um, Okay, so because of this business, you guys are probably seeing like my family has options now. We've slowed down our pace of life. We've been able to volunteer more and like pursue our passions and give more generously. And most importantly, be present with our kids because those years just go so fast. We decided to homeschool. We're now a homeschooling family and we love it for the most part. Uh, But my husband lost his job of 17 years in 2020. So had a baby was sick, husband lost his job, he lost his work truck, he lost his leadership position. All of it was gone. And it could have been so easy to panic, to freak out, and we didn't worry. Mostly because we trust the Lord, but because also Plexus. And he didn't have to rush into another role. He chose to stay home and invest in our kids and not miss time with them. He got to be there for every single moment of our third baby, which was not the same as the older two kids, right? Mom was doing all the things. And so he doesn't have to miss any time with our kids. And we get to be fully present together and create our own reality. And Our goal is eventually to be debt free. I want to see zero on the debt. We're working hard towards that. We want to build a beautiful land or beautiful home on some land, have the big wraparound porch, the swing, all of it. Just a place where our kids can grow up, our grandkids can come and visit. I never want to have to worry about expenses. I actually have a lot of medical conditions, some a genetic disease, things that I have to monitor for the rest of my life and get scans and surgeries and that's a lot of money. And so this is also another reason why I picked up Plexus because I'm like I don't ever want to have to put that burden on my family. And so that's really important to me is to stay medically debt free as well. And then, things like kids' college and all things that, we see fit to be able to say yes to. So today, this is something that my husband thanks me for. He's seen the fruit of my determination, the grit, the tears, the refusal to quit when things were hard. And I want you guys to hear this because the people who question you in the beginning are the ones who will be thanking you in the end. And you will thank yourself for not giving up when the work felt uncomfortable or slow. So, this journey has deeply, deeply transformed me as a woman, a wife, a mom, a friend, a leader. I am forever grateful for the refining process, although it's not always comfortable when you're in the middle of it. But one of the reasons I keep saying yes to growth, even when it's uncomfortable, is because I'm raising three children who are watching me. Not what I say, but what I do. And I want my kids to grow up believing that big things just don't happen to special people. They happen to ordinary people who are willing to learn, to stretch, to stay faithful. My hope is that one day my children will, or maybe at least my daughter, will join me here at Plexus. There's some hints that that might happen. But this is something that I can gift my business to generations to come. And I can already see the incredible legacy that that will leave once I'm gone. So people ask me, Abby, has it been worth it? And my answer is always, always yes, over and over again. Has it been easy? No. But honestly, anything meaningful you build, it's going to require effort and growth and perseverance. I've fought a lot of mindset battles, mostly, the false stories that created between my own ears. There were moments that I definitely questioned myself, my abilities. I felt insecure. I wondered if I could move forward. Moments I wondered if I had what it took to lead others or even lead myself. I faced people stopping products and workers leaving Plexus, and I faced hurt, pain, rejection, all of it. But every part of it is still worth it. Worth it to out earn careers that you were once told were your ceiling. Worth it to plan your life instead of react to it. Worth it to live out your dreams, not someday, but right now, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. It's been worth it to change the trajectory of my family's future and to not have to wait for a retirement to start enjoying our lives. So I made one decision early on. I wasn't going to let my comfort zone keep me from everything that God has for me and for the others in my life and on my team. And that decision has carried me through the seasons of doubt, through growth, momentum, and challenge. And it's really become that anchor for me. So I want to pause for a moment as we're wrapping up. And I'm not asking you guys to decide anything tonight, but I'm going to ask you a few honest questions that were asked of me because clarity often comes when we're willing to look at where we're headed. So here's a question for you guys. You don't have to answer this. You can just write it down on a piece of paper or reflect on it mentally. But if nothing changed in your life over the next 3 to 5 years, same place you're living, same schedule, same income, same level of stress, same. How do you think you would feel? Would you feel content? Would you feel happy? Would you feel excited? Or would you feel some sort of negative emotion or just feeling like things are unfinished? If your life were to stay exactly as it is right now, what moments might you miss because of it? And when you picture yourself a few years from now, what would you regret more? trying something and deciding that it wasn't for you, or never giving yourself a chance at all. That one's kind of a gut punch. And I also want to be clear with you guys about what it actually takes to be successful here. It doesn't take a certain personality. You don't have to be extroverted or introverted. It doesn't take a specific age, background, experience. You might have tried network marketing before and failed. I did too. I was with Mary Kay, and my experience there was very different than it is here. Very different. What it takes is a willingness to grow, a willingness to learn a skill set and practice it, a willingness to be coachable. Yeah, we have some pretty amazing leaders here on this team, and we'd love to help you. And just an openness for change. Change comes when we are willing to change. And so, the women who do really well here, they don't want to keep living the same exact life over and over and over again. And so they're willing to grow into something new. And just know that you would not do this alone. We have phenomenal systems that you plug into. You'll know exactly how to get started. You'll have support, collaboration, connection, recognition, and this is flexible. So you don't have to leave a full-time job like I did eventually to make this work. You can build this in the pockets of your already busy day. We all know that the most successful women are the busiest, right? And so you're not going to have a boss telling you when to work, where to work, who to work with. You have the freedom to choose that, and you have the ability to create your day the way that you want to, and that is truly a gift. So today, I lead an incredible team, and there's some amazing women right here from my team on this call, stay-at-home moms, homeschooling moms, nurses, teachers, full-time working professionals, anyone and everyone in between. But they're hungry, they're women that are hungry for change, and we would love for you to join us in this adventure. The impact that we've been able to create together is so much more than individually on our own, right? That ripple effect of change is real. And, the impact on families, generations, communities, even the world. It all starts with one nervous step, one nervous yes. So if you're sitting there thinking, I've tried something like this before, or I don't think I'm cut out for this, or I'm too tired, too busy, too unsure, please hear this. I have felt all of that too, and more. But God doesn't ask us to be perfect. He asks us to just be willing. And sometimes the biggest blessings come from the very thing that we almost said no to. So a year from now, if you guys are sitting in a completely different space or place, more confident, more supported, more options, more income, more impact, would it be worth the work to get there? What do you guys think? Type a 1 in the chat if you think it'd be worth it to be in a totally different spot in a year. And the truth is, you guys, we only get one life. Are you going to live yours from faith or from fear? And when I look ahead, I am seeing women choosing courage over comfort, purpose over autopilot, faith over fear. Women who decide that this one life they've been given is too meaningful to spend shrinking back or staying stuck, but living out what you were created to be and what you're created to do and who you're created to be. And that's what I'm building towards. I am headed towards Diamond, the top rank in the company and beyond. I've got big, scary goals for this year. And I need and want to link arms with as many women as possible. And so I believe the best is yet to come. We're in a really exciting transition right now in Plexus. We just released something brand new that is flying off the shelves. Like, now is the time to jump on board with us because it's going to be massive. And so, really quick, I want to highlight 4 women on here and kind of what their vision is, and then we'll wrap up and be done. So Sarah Marie, wave, is a 4K through 12 principal. She's a boy mama and lives in a small rural town here in Wisconsin. Plexus has allowed her a lot of things. It's allowed her to pay off over $10,000 and pay off her SUV. Feels really good to pay off a vehicle, you guys, just saying. Pays for her truck every month. When her kids were in daycare, it helped with those costs. It's covered family and a couple of trips and vacations to Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Colorado. And now she's currently going to Wales. Yes, Wales in April. And I'm so jealous, and I hope she packs me in her suitcase, her one little carry-on suitcase. Her big goals are to pay off their house, buy more land, renovate, build a dream home, and have 2 family vacations a year to the mountains and the beaches. You got to have both experiences. And then she wants to add on to their farm operations, start Verstegen Happy Hog meat production, very specific, and maybe even have enough to cover great health insurance and then to potentially have the flexibility to leave her 9 to 5 job and come home. She would love to sponsor a school in Africa down the road and have money to pay for her boys' college education. And that is what a big vision looks like. And I love it. And I know that she's going to accomplish it. And then there's Emily Radke. I think she's getting her hair done, so she's probably not going to wait, but she is the sweetest. She's a physical therapist assistant from De Pere, Wisconsin. Her hubby and her have 3 kiddos, 7, 4, and 2. So far, Plexus has helped them paying off their cars and allowed her to drop down to part-time hours to come home and spend more time at home and with her babies. It's also been the vehicle that has grown her as a person, pushed her out of her comfort zone, helped her grow her confidence in herself. She loves the community and surrounding herself with other driven, faith-based women. That has been a really big turning point for her and how she mothers her kids, the type of wife she is, and the person she is still becoming. And her future goals are to pay off debt, to take family vacations. First off, they want to go to Disney, and then make vacation an annual thing, not a rare thing. And she would love to eventually transition to being a full-time stay-at-home mom as well. And then Hillary Boris, she's amazing. Wave if you're on. I can't see all of you. She's a boy mama and a hospice registered nurse from Winneconne, Wisconsin. Her and I actually grew up about 15 minutes away from each other and never ever crossed paths until Plexus. So that is pretty crazy. But she's been with Plexus for almost 6 years. She's one of my original joins with Sarah Murray and Emily. We've actually been around together for a long time. And it's opened up so many doors for her and her family. It's given them several opportunities to travel, which she never was too keen on doing or didn't expect to do. And it's shown her that she can continue to grow outside of formal learning settings and to be able to form new friendships with like-minded women who feel like we now have lifelong friends. And her dreams here with Plexus are to pay off all credit card debt, debt-free, purchase land to build their forever home. I am seeing a pattern here, and a farmstead, and to live time-free, right? Purpose-driven life with her family. And then last but not least is Hannah, is a mama to a sweet baby girl, and she works as an RN. She's raising her hand. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. You were ready. In the operating room at, I don't even know how to say that, Freudert Hospital. I'm sorry, I probably butchered it. In Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. She gave me a lot of hard words to say, okay? She's new to the business side of Plexus, but so far she's been able to pay for her products each month, which is really nice. She knows this is a journey and she desires to create a life that she can love. And she's really enjoyed every moment with the team, with this opportunity so far. She's learning a ton. She's learned lessons she didn't know she needed and feels as though she has grown as a person overall. Her long-term goal would be to pay off debt, find their next home. Okay, all of us are looking for a next home mostly, besides Emily. And then just transition to part-time so she can spend more time with her daughter. So all of these women, different stories, but we all have something in common. None of us started because we had it figured out. We just didn't. We didn't feel ready. We had to learn a lot of things along the way, and we had to overcome a lot of things along the way. But that simple yes is what started it all for all of us. So no matter what your goal is here, if you're like me and 300 to 400 extra dollars, that would be such a huge blessing. If you desire to come home full time, if you want to be debt free, if you want to take vacations with your family, whatever your why is or what's important to you, we love it. And we will support you in exactly what you would like to see happen in your life too. So as we close, I want you guys to type in the chat one last time. What excited you the most from tonight's call? Or what could you relate with the most? Or how are you feeling leaving? Tell me all the things. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up on a busy night. Thank you for carving out time. Thank you for being willing to take a moment to step back and get honest with yourself about your life, your dreams, your future. I know that that takes courage. And thank you for joining me in my own journey and for being open enough to consider what yours could look like too. So, if something inside of you is stirring, even quietly, I want to encourage you not to ignore that. That is the worst thing you could do. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to make a decision right now, but just honor that stirring because that prompting, I don't believe it's a coincidence. And so, talk with the woman who invited you. Ask questions. Stay curious. Stay open because sometimes the smallest yes is the beginning of a life that looks very different a year from now. So thank you, everybody. Hope you guys have a great night, and I hope to see you soon and chat with you soon. All right. Bye, everybody.